So with this song, Shir Chadash, we're singing a new song unto God, to God. And so I'm going to teach you the beginning, and you're going to sing it, and sing it back. And everyone on Zoom, we know you sound beautiful. Sing as loudly as you want, pending everyone in your home. They like it. Yeah. All right, so. Shiru Ladonai. Your turn. Shiru Ladonai. Kol haaretz. Kol haaretz. Shiru. Come on in, it's okay. Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai. Shir Hadash. Shir Hadash. Beautiful. And now, with Roger, we're going to sing it all together. So you can listen a couple times. Like all great Jewish music, it's repetitive. A lot of repetition.
Well, the rabbi does an introduction to the service. The cantor will find the pianos. So we are going to the New Union Prayer Book. We're traveling back in time. So please turn to page 145 in the New Union Prayer Book.
The old Union.
It's new to us.
The older prayer book, it was called the New. Now we have newer. All right. We have come together to stick with, and in fine tradition, whenever the words are in italics, that's for all of you. First of all, thank you to everybody for being here. I know that you have many other places you can be. I also know that most of you are going to be here tomorrow evening. So we'll have extra special desserts next week for all of you if you come back, which I encourage you to do. But I appreciate you showing your commitment to our congregation. All right, 145, I begin and you come in with the italics. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people Israel, like Jews of generation past. We celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice. You are.
Our celebration is a sharing of memory and hope.
We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone with differing feelings and insights. And yet, we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage.
Our celebration unites many separate selves into a single chorus.
And we are one in search of life's meaning. Excuse me. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love.
May our celebration bring us strength along our way.
Why don't we read the last part together? In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself at its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good. May our celebration lead us to work for the good. And may this Shabbat give strength to us and to our people Israel, and will add to all humanity. We say Amen. Next, Cantor Orly, candlelighting, page 120, in the newest of our prayer books.
And so we want to honor any past executives if you served on the board. So this is our lovely normal Friday crowd. If you're on the board right now, the current board, come on up.
Or if you've been on the board of sisterhood, that counts too.
Yes.
Or if you're board of services right now, come on up.
Board, yeah.
That's not good. It's too early. It's too early in the service.
And everybody else, please rise for the lighting of the candles.
Stand up there. Okay, so you're all gonna, it's on page 121.
The top or the bottom?
You're gonna read as a Shabbat candle, the top.
You guys can come in closer. We're really not doing social distancing, so you need cozy.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our waning day be among those who kindle light.
And then the blessing on 120.
Official match.
Oh, let's see. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Commandment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hamal ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, woo, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Cheery, beery, beery. Cheery, beery,
Top 10.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shalom.
Page 142. Shalom Aleichem. So for those of you who are just arriving, don't all turn and look. We need the old prayer books there and the handout, the newsletter. And one of the old cedar too.
I don't think there's any more, but I'll give
There are, because there's a whole box on the,
It should be in
there's a box on the last bench, and so they're not so obvious, but they are there. All right, Shalom Aleichem, 142, Cantor Orly.
Shalom.
not sure how many people have taken a deep breath this week. Sighs don't count. Sighs, you expel the air. Now we breathe it in. Then, of course, you then need to breathe it out. The goal is to refresh our insides, to show ourselves that we love ourselves. Before we can send love into the world, we have to take care of ourselves. Let's take a deep breath in. Another. This is a transitional time in the week. With each struggle, whether it was sitting in traffic, dealing with an ugly aspect of life, dealing with a difficult person at work, but we're here. So if you follow football, I'm calling it audible. There's a beautiful reading by a woman named Nikita Gill that I found along the lines of what I was just saying. It's called A Reminder from Smaller Beings. The bird building her home on your windowsill has had every nest she's built before destroyed. The spider that is deliberately building a silken masterpiece has had every single thread ripped before. And despite it all, they each keep trying and building. That's why we are here, to give each other support so we can each weave and web and build. Psalm 97, the top of 133 in our current new Siddur. Adonai is sovereign, let the earth exult, the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God, righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. So why don't you all read the indented lines, and I'll read it a little more softly. O you who love Adonai, hate evil. God guards the lives of God's loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai, and acclaim God's holy name. It is now time for our president, our Madam President, Arlene Bailey, to come forward. And this time we turn to the old New Siddur, page 160 in the New Union Prayer Book. Page 160.
Shalom, everyone. I come up on that. It is wonderful to be here tonight, and you all look forward so much. This is Aaron 75th. So tomorrow we are going to have a huge celebration, and we all cannot wait. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. And we look forward to all being there. And if you haven't signed on, guess what? It's TBD. You can still come at the last minute. Oh God, may this hour help us to an awareness of your presence. You are Caesar, after the one whose name we cannot utter. We cannot truly know you, we cannot see you, and yet you are known and named and seen. As it is said, did not those who came before you eat and drink like you? If did justice and right, they defended the poor and the needy, then it was well. Is not this to know me, says the Lord? We will look then to truth and to right, follow the path of beauty and love. These bear witness to you. By them shall we know you.
Thank you, Arlene. The last few weeks we've been doing Lecha Dodi to the tune created by one of the leaders of our times in terms of creative Jewish music, Craig Taubman. Lecha Dodi in our regular prayer books, pages 138 and 139. This evening we're doing stanzas 1, 2, then 5 and 9. 1, 2, 5, and 9. I sound like, what's that, years ago? A 1 and a 2. Sorry. There we go. I was thinking of Guy Lombardo, but that was New Year's Eve or something. We're doing Lawrence well. A 1, a 2, a 5, and a 9. And for 9 we rise and greet the Sabbath bride. 138. Chazan. Please be seated. I'm calling another audible, but nothing to worry about, Cantor. Instead of the reading on 419, maybe with some easy listening music of your choice, I want you to take a moment, think about something good that happened today, or yesterday, or any time since the last time you were at temple, and share it with the person next to you. Just say something nice that happened, and if someone isn't right in your row, or not at the Hollywood Bowl, there are people nearby. So let's think of something good, maybe some music so their thoughts aren't necessarily heard by the people in other rows. Thank you. How good it is when we all dwell together. Thank you for sharing. There is good. There's much good in this world. Page 140 in our newest Siddur, our regular prayer books. Why don't we read together? The English at the bottom of 140, our regular prayer books. This is Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. A song for Shabbat. I'll read the ones on the edge, and then you all read the indented ones. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-string harp with voice and lyre or lyre, someone will tell me later how to pronounce it, together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. And you all, the righteous, they thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, at whom there is no law. As they say in the part of the country where my oldest daughter works, please rise for the Baruch, the prayer to God, to thank God for our blessings. The Baruch, the call to worship, page 146. You all may be seated. For the next two blessings leading up to the Shema, we turn to 148. The theme of Friday night is God as a creator. So we have to say nice things about God, and the first thing is that we're so grateful, because we don't ask for anything on Shabbat. We just say nice things, the way you each just describe the good from the week. Another time I'll tell people what really was heavy this week, but in the spirit of the Sabbath and the long week, the beautiful weekend I meant to say, there's so much good in our world. And now we're thanking God for creating the world in which we get to live. So the middle of 148, I will do the English and the Cantor will conclude. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You, that is God, are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaoth, which means Lord of hosts, is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continuously over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari V'Adoni.
Why don't we read together in the middle of 149? This is an hour of change. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. And within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari V'Adoni.
It is now time to listen. Oh, wait. We have one more blessing to do. I'm so sorry. The middle of 150, then it's time for listen. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, that's 150, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. If you are lost, you feel the
Thank you, Cantor Orly. The Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובמאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת לבניך, ודינתך, ושבתך בביתך ובלדך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרת מלאות על ידיך, והיו מטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך ובמשעריך.
154 in the middle, you may be seated. We are in between Mother's Day and Father's Day. And if we're lucky, people say nice things to us around those days. Yichamocha is when we say nice things about God. We can say it anytime. The Cantor will now lead us in a beautiful verse of Yichamocha by the late, great Debbie Friedman. Yichamocha.
Adonai Say, you know you're a mom when you do this today.
Page 160, Hashki Benu. Page 161, in our newest Siddur. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter, into the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, v'alchol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Vishamru, please rise. 162, the blessing for the Sabbath day.
Thank you.
please remain standing. I know most of you are pretty serious, you don't like to laugh, but nonetheless, I'm going to tell you that right across from the Ralphs on Tunis, I knew it was the name of a country, kind of, Tunisia, there's a place across the street called the Amida Society. So that was kind of rabbinic humor, I thought that was kind of funny. So we're getting ready for the Amida Society, and so we're going to begin with Adonai Svatai, which is on 164 in our newest new Sidurim. And then this is a surprise for the Cantor, but she's done it before. We're then going to begin together the first two blessings, and then you'll have some time for quiet prayer until page 180, either those words, or the words and thoughts in your heart. So Adonai Svatai, and then we begin together 166.
Adonai Svatai Taku Bia Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Ha'gadol, Ha'gidol Le'ahara, El Elyon, Gomer Chassadim Tovim, Lekonei Ha'od, Zocher Chassidot Ve'imahod, U'mevidim Lav Ne'beneihem, Le'man Shemo Le'ayah, Melchazer Moshe U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Ezra Sarah.
You may be seated when you finish the altar. We turn to page 181. Another surprise for the Cantor. Does anybody remember what rain is? Does anybody remember what rain is?
No. Is that water from the sky? Is that?
I'm not sure. We can Google later and find out. From what I recall, it does come from the sky.
We just got our roof fixed, so it won't rain ever again.
What was that?
We just had our roof fixed, so it won't rain anymore, ever.
I speak to each of my daughters. I'm blessed with two. I speak to each of them every Friday. So when I reached my oldest daughter, she said she was sitting outside because it was a little wet. I said, from the heat you have in Mississippi? She goes, no, Abba, Dad, it actually rained. I said, can you just take a picture of a puddle or something? Because I haven't seen it in a long time. All right, so page 181 is my audible, my third of the day, and that may be enough. And then we're going to go to 371. Let's do this responsibly. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Roger, can you make like a little rain sound maybe?
A little sounds like Roger is saying.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of like rain. Okay, cool. Stand still. You never didn't think Purim was going to break out on a Shabbat. There you go. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Together, let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance, this is my part, of our days. The weight of our own deeds, the next one is yours. Against the heaviness of the world's demands, the balance is precarious. Steady us with faith, all of you.
Quiet places and stillness, where we will hear our own best impulses speak.
Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. Together, we will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. One more little bit of rain. That was so beautiful. I feel we should break into song. I don't know. All right, so maybe we can do that tomorrow night. We can have a sing-along. 371. So let me explain the way that the clergy decided. So what we're going to do for the Mishabera, and you may say that I decided to do this, but actually the woman who wrote the tune that we're about to sing, Debbie Friedman, decided what I'm about to share. I think I've shared here that it's a pretty intense situation, but after Yitzhak Rabin was killed in the mid-90s, shortly after I attended what's called the General Assembly of the Federation. It was in Boston that year. It was the city where I was working, and we all had been leaders of our community responses to the unprecedented killing of the leader of Israel by a fellow Jew. And Debbie did then what I'd heard her do before, Debbie of blessed memory now, and said, because she was an icon, we all wanted to sing with her, because, you know, we all sing it in our own places of worship, and we get to hear the great, she goes, the first time is for you, because now I'm getting chills, because I heard her say it a couple times, because we all need healing, and it's not a sing-along. The first time it is just for us to breathe in, maybe they can lead us in some good breathing. And then after the first one, before we sing together, that's where I will solicit names by going Hebraically from right to left. Then I will go over to the broadcast system next to Shari and read the names that are in the chat. And then without any sign from me or God, the Cantor will continue leading all of us in singing the second paragraph. Oh, wait, 371.
Ethan Perez and Seaver.
Thank you. Well, I'm doing alive.
Eileen Hoffman.
I'm thinking my names, okay? Pam Sirota, Lanny Ewell. Anybody else? We pray for everyone who doesn't have anyone to pray for them. I'm blessed at 61 to still have parents. And my dad today said, "Can we watch your service?" I said, "Dad, it's gonna start way after you go to sleep." But I said I would be sure that it's being recorded. Is it being recorded?
Yes.
And then we'll load it somewhere that I will help him find when I'm there in about a week, Sunday morning. The scenes of war in Ukraine have all along been disheartening and just out of our minds unbelievable. The refugee crisis that we observed at the beginning of the war showed scenes of humanity, of people in distress, that most of us in this room weren't cognizant of, even if any of us were alive during World War II. You were weak ones then. Those of us who are my age and younger have only studied it in school. Similarly, what we saw this week, just last night, I only heard the audio because I was driving back from walking, but what was described of the insurrection, the riot, the attempt to overthrow the government of the United States on January 6th, were similarly breathtakingly shocking. They both seem to reflect a lack of acceptance of the notion that other people's dignity and the rule of law is as precious as their belief in their own dignity and their own sense of what's right. Last night, my heart was broken listening to the female Capitol police officer describe the hand-to-hand combat which she had to engage in on January 6th, activities she was, the commentator later said, not trained for. But they did anyway. And then she became a medic to help her fellow police officers who had been sprayed with all sorts of things. The activity which led her to get a concussion, and which led the friend on the force who was standing there with her to later die. Watching the massive exodus of people in Ukraine, and since then, hearing about families being killed while trying to escape, seeing towns being destroyed, some of which I saw in January 2005 when I was in Ukraine with other rabbis, learning about people hiding in factories for weeks and weeks, and often being taken hostage by Russia, led me to think about the manner in which we treat others says a lot about us. The manner in which we treat other people says more about who we are than what we say we are. I love that I can use my iPad and say, well, my father might wonder what I'm doing. Not that he wouldn't use it, but he doesn't know how to use it. It says in Breshit, chapter 1, verse 27, Vayibra Elohim et ha'adam b'tzomo, b'tzelem Elohim bara oto zachar u'nekiva bara otam. And God created the human in his image. In the image of God, he, that is God, we don't know if it's also a she, sorry, the gender neutral created him and her, male and female, God created them. The conviction that all people have been fashioned in God's image frequently grounds Jewish efforts to work for the full inclusion of all. Whether it's people of different physical sizes, sexual orientations, it is Pride Month after all, or different levels or sorts of abilities, helps us understand that this idea of B'Tselem Elohim, created in God's image, affirms in the Jewish tradition a fundamental equality between people, a recognition that all humans are equally worthy of respect and dignity and kindness. The value of B'Tselem Elohim anchors a Jewish call through the ages, from the beginning of time, from the book of Genesis, to ensure that people have the opportunity to learn and to teach, to pray, that is with an A, not an E, and to participate, to celebrate, and to mourn, to care, and be cared for. B'Tselem Elohim reminds us to ensure that all people have equal access and equal opportunity in Russia, Ukraine, to live, and in this country, in light of what I share, to participate and live in a free and democratic society. In Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers, which traditionally is read between Passover and Shavuot, which just was last weekend, in Pirkei Avot it says, Rabbi Eliezer says, let other people's dignity be as precious to you as your own. That's a real Jewish idea. It isn't just a funky California thing. Jewish tradition regards human dignity as a reflection that all human beings are indeed created in God's image. I started rabbinical school, but I took a long time to get out because I got a degree and I didn't want to go back from California back to New York and stare at New Jersey instead of the ocean. So man I started school with went on to finish earlier, and it's now the head of the rabbinical school at American Jewish University, Rabbi Brad Artson writes, tomorrow may never be, and it may also certainly not be what we expect it to be. So don't postpone joy or reconciliation or love until tomorrow. That's love for yourself and love for other people. Life is to be lived now on this day, because it is what we have, and it may be all we have. In the words of Israel Zangwill, quote, for Judaism, the center of gravity is here and now. The whole problem of life faces us today, especially in light of the gun violence that is not only reared its ugly head now, when those of us who are our age were in our 30s and Columbine occurred. We thought that would stir people's conscience. When Sandy Hook happened, we thought that would stir people's conscience. But it's still happening. The sages of the Mishnah Council don't say you will study tomorrow, for tomorrow you may not have time. Don't put off righting a wrong until tomorrow, because sadly tomorrow may never come. Now, today, Rabbi Artson writes, and then the more famous rabbi, if not now, says Hillel, then when? Now this is me quoting myself. As my dear father says, let's be grateful for what is. Let's be sure to love each other more and live lives that show we acknowledge our blessings. You may wonder why I'm talking about this today, besides the obvious connection to the events that are in the news, because I clearly do want to be sure that what I talk about is connected to our lives, because as one of my instructors of homiletics in the 80s, Rabbi, now I'm older, I don't remember, I'll remember soon, Rabbi Henry Fisher said, boys, even though there are already women in the class. You hadn't quite assimilated that back. Boys, if you don't connect things to people's lives, you have wasted their time. So I never want to waste your time. But I do want to say, there's always an application to our lives, not only in the micro level, to speak oddly like an academic, but on the macro level. So as we stand here celebrating the 75th anniversary of our synagogue, our temple, our holy community, we have to think about what the lessons of our tradition say about what it is that we have and where we may yet go. We're not about to sing, we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful world, and we're not going to skip, although maybe tomorrow after a few margaritas we will. But social justice is not just this fun thing we do, because we don't do as many rituals as those other types of Jews, or wearing the color black that I'll be wearing tomorrow, because apparently that's what you wear to a classy thing. But doing social justice work is at the core of what it means to be a Jew, regardless of where you pray. I don't care what people pray. And my Talit says I graduated from a conservative institution, but I'm really a post-denominational Jew, because I forget the acronym, but it's something like BMOOCWR. The first brownie, the people that can tell me what any of those letters stand for. BMO, it's not a bad thing. Bar Mitzvah Orthodox, ordained conservative, working reform. So in my hospice career of 15 years, which is half of the number of years I've been ordained, people are always, the expression is checking my tzitzit. What does that mean? Let's see what you know. So they're saying, what kind of rabbi are you? And I say, a Jewish rabbi. My childhood rabbi of great honor, Rabbi Ruben Bulka, who passed away this past who knows when, sometime in the last year and a half, was a righteous man. Another time I'll teach some of what he did. Besides being a rabbi, he had a PhD in psychology. He studied the writings of logotherapy, which was a theory espoused by the late, great Viktor Frankl. But Rabbi Bulka was not happy that I had decided for college to go to the Jewish Theological Seminary's double BA program at Columbia University. I said, but Rabbi Bulka, I'm studying. You were my bar mitzvah rabbi, so you taught me not only to play softball, which I still do at 61, but you inspired me to be a Jew and to be a leader. So why is it bothering you that that's where I'm going to school, as opposed to the fact that my cousins who came in today for services to watch our Zeta, my grandfather had his second bar mitzvah at 83 and did the Haftarah, the prophetic reading. He said, okay, I feel terrible speaking poorly about him, but I'm going to do him a lot of honor. He said, it's kind of like this. Start at the Reform Yeshiva in New York. If you don't like that, then go to the conservative. You know where I'm going. And if you don't like that. But I said, Rabbi Bulka, and where I got that part of the body I can't say in a recorded item, I said, it's really like this. Like, you have to go to the place on the spectrum that you're most comfortable. But yet I digress. Judaism has eternal principles, which all Jews, if they don't, ought to stand by. I am here speaking to you because, and I'm not only saying this because they may watch this, because my parents are great role models. When I was a child in Montreal, the Soviet Union still existed, and the Russian premier, Alexei Kosygin, came to Montreal, and they went. And they had a big poster. I was under 11 when we lived there, but they showed me that you demonstrate. When the Jews of Syria were aided by a secret campaign of activist Jews led by Judy Feldkar in Toronto, where we were living in high school, they showed me that knowing French, which is the language that all Canadians have to learn in some form or fashion, was helpful, because then we can write in French instead of Hebrew on the inside of the Sidurim that we had purchased to wish the Jews of Syria well, as we were sending them those. Now, how does this affect us as a synagogue? The covenant of Judaism involves caring for other people. And if in the past, when all of us, even the youngest among us in this room, if it was a denominational approach to Judaism, and I wanted to connect to your lives, so I'm not going to quote everything I have, Judaism now is covenantal rather than focusing on denominations. Even though we have denominations, the goal is to bring holiness into the world, to see the acts that we do, whether it's lighting candles, writing letters, calling your Congress people to ask them, or the people in other districts, to get them to do something about the plague of gun violence in this country, to help the people that are living on the streets of the city where I live in Los Angeles. We don't have an option of sitting idly by, because apparently that's also something in the Torah. We can't sit idly by the blood of our neighbor. And so I hope that as we go forward, we work our way to the next election, and tomorrow to the 75th anniversary, in the upcoming years that our temple will be blessed to have. Let's be sure to ride on the justice train. And when I said that, I thought maybe someone would start playing some Cat Stevens song, but we can do that tomorrow after the margaritas. But we really have to lift people up each day and not put them down at every opportunity we have. We have to give people the benefit of the doubt and to try to make our society holy, H-O-L-Y, and holy with a W, better than it was when we arrived. Let's look out and find people who need a hug, ask them first, and who need support. This is my youngest daughter, who's now in law school during college, was a summer intern and a state assembly person who ran for city council in LA. Jewish last name, but won't say it here, and he just walked around like a big teddy bear giving everybody unwanted hugs. It wasn't salacious, but it still was unwelcome. We are all holy beings, holy children of God, almost done. When we treat other people in an unholy manner, we are treating God in an unholy manner. I look forward to walking the holy walk with all of you so we can have a more hopeful future. I don't know the key to sing the song, the little ditty for announcements, but that's what it's time for. Carol Ozer, please.
Carol Ozer, come down for announcements.
I got Paul.
I was with you.
Did I just be there? I wasn't asleep. And beautiful piano music tonight, right? Wouldn't you all agree?
Yes.
It felt to me like the teens were crying in happiness. They were just going, no, you just I don't know anything about playing the piano, but it's
Roger played my last year at school for recitatives, so like when you're learning the big, like the big pieces, kind of like the arias and opera. So Roger was my accompanist, and for another play, he was also my accompanist for the possible interview. I'm just gonna go there. So Roger is wonderful, and I'm so blessed he's here, and for future use for an accompanist.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you to Rabbi Muroff, Cantor, Orly, Campbell, Roger, the Twinkle Master. So, and thank you for a wonderful service. I really felt that tonight, the dynamic of you guys coming together and what you both say and what you both do. And it's rewarding to come back to Temple, because for those of us that haven't been here, except for a little cooking, a little cleaning and whatever, I was just thinking, it's like tomorrow, well, should I be worrying about my hair, my makeup and everything? And I thought, you know what? Temple has been so worked on last couple months with fixing up the social hall, doing necessary repairs, getting it to look like not just 100 bucks, a lot of bucks. And it's so nice to come here and know that we have a home here in Temple City, and we hope that everybody can enjoy it as much as we do. However, I do have an announcement. So before I get to that, I saw that next week, if you enjoy half of Lent with Cantor today, and I know you will take a birthday Friday off, we will miss you, but Rena Strober and our own Nikki Edelman will be here next week for more of a musical. So if you like a little hint tonight, come back, because it's gonna be great. Unless you're so worn out from tomorrow night, so let's just talk about that real quick.
Take a week.
If tomorrow night is the 75th, and yes, the 75, we look great. So, like Cantor said, if you want to come, please come. So it's going to be great. A lot of people put a lot of time and effort into this, and it's just going to be phenomenal. Okay, so we're working on the memories and Muroff and Temple Beth David on 75 years. And I skipped before I knew this, but I was so excited. Okay, I'm going to say it again, June 17th. We have a hybrid Shabbat led by Rabbi Len, Mickey Edelman, and our guest musician, Dean Strober. We hope you can join us.
Guest soloist. She's a musician, she's a soloist, she'll be singing.
Sorry, she's reading my notes, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I stand corrected. Thank you. And June 19th, wishing all the fathers a happy Father's Day. We'll have a mindful meditation, correct? Wonderful. Okay, so on here it says intermediate Hebrew, but I believe that you're now on break, Jan?
Intermediate is continuing.
Oh, good.
Beginning is on break, however, Rabbi Len will have a new class in the summer, and advanced is on independent study.
Oh, well, thank you. Anybody who needs to know about Hebrew, learning Hebrew with Jan, it's just wonderful. She teaches a wonderful class, and it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun, and it's good to be enriching your life, and thank you for doing that with you. Okay, well, June 24th. Join us for our farewell Shabbat Cantor Orly. We hope as many of you can come out and be here to help us honor her and celebrate all she has done for TBD past 3 years. Where did the time go? I don't know.
Pandemic.
Yeah, and Sisterhood is sponsoring the ONA, so you can expect wonderful treats, as they're always is. And we'll be very thankful to do that for you. Thank you for all of you coming to join us tonight and kick off our 75th anniversary for Temple Beth David. Yay! Thank you, Mr. Boswell.
Thanks, Carol.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna call another audible at the line. I'll encourage us to reflect on our own prayer for this country because the hour is late, but I do want to read. There are 2 birthdays this coming week. One is Jonas Sachs and the other is our Cantor, Orly Campbell. And there is an anniversary of Cantor, Orly, and Adam Campbell, so we wish them, how many years now, Cantor?
June 14 will be 14 years.
14 years. We wish you many, many more increments of 14. And 14 in Hebrew is yad, and it's a hand. So we give them a hand for making it.
Buen cumpleaños a te.
You wanted to cry.
Yom Haledet Sameach.
Wait a minute.
Please rise for.
Wait a minute. We have a little surprise. Wayne?
Well,
Is this for
do you want me to
birthday
see
or
it from
anniversary?
back here, or do you want me to come up there?
gosh, you're gonna sing?
Oh my
Wait,
God.
what?
Is this for birthday or anniversary?
Yes,
Birthday.
for the Cantor.
What?
This wasn't in our outline.
One Pagliano.
Oh.
All right, so,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I'm gonna try to wing this, but you guys can go with me. All right. Tanta gloriate, tanta gloriate, tanta gloriate, Cantor Orly. Tanta gloriate, tanta gloriate, tanta Thank you for not throwing rotten tomatoes at me.
If you don't know what that is, when I worked at Macaroni Grill, that was the birthday song I had to sing to everyone. So I did 3 years ago, and I'm absolutely flushed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, did I pronounce the words correctly somewhere?
Kol hakavod in Hebrew. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Another job.
What?
You can't take that with you. That's for us.
That's okay. Okay.
Please
So-
rise, 586, Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol. Tonight, we recall the following people for whom the yard site, we recall 3 categories. The people for whom the Kaddish of the year is being said. If there's someone in that category, please let us know. I think Hank is still the Kaddish of the year. You have some, this is just for the year. Now, these are the people for whom yard site's being observed. I will read my list, and then obviously I'm happy to accept names from others. Linda Rubenstein, the wife of Louis Rubenstein. Lorraine Lavin, the mother of Joanne Lavin. David Bernstein, the father of Carol Marber. Connie Bernstein, the grandmother of Richard Cohn, A-O-E-N. Leon Shapiro, the father of Richard Shapiro. And then Max Waisman, Ben Otto, Henry Aaron Moel, Corey R. Bloomberg, and Sarah Talisman. Is there anybody here who has a name in any possible category of mourning that you would like included now?
Gail Moodyman?
Thank you. Maybe if there's anybody on the streaming option, if you could share any names. So there are different approaches to what we do now. Clearly, for decades, I've been told, the congregation would now all remain standing, but for the people for whom that isn't their custom, they want to wait until they are an official mourner. I'm fine if you sit down. But I would like it if some people remain standing, because people I'm related to have said that when they've had to say Kaddish, it's been very difficult to be alone and standing while emotions are flowing. So whatever you'd like to do is fine, as long as somebody is standing, hopefully near the folks who are saying Kaddish. Mourner's Kaddish. Yid Gadal, V'yid Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, 598. Dira, Pirute, V'yamid, Malchute, V'chayet Chom, V'yomeh Chom, V'chayet Avol, Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bizman Karim, V'ru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Mevorach, V'olam, Umei Umaya, Yifarach, V'yishtabach, V'yifohar, V'yitroma, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudashah, V'rifu, Le'ilah, Mikol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechamata, Damiram, V'yalma, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'yalkol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imrama, U'brachamav Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yalkol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. While I find my closing prayer, I am going to punt to the Cantor and let her do Kiddush. A little birdie who sows let me know that the wine or grape juice is over there.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Adonai b'riat ha'olam. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'anu. have more of this tomorrow.
Like the same plan tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm a little, yeah.
Did Mike bring Hollow?
No.
Is there
Maybe
Hollow
Carol or?
Yes, yes. Oh, no.
Over.
No.
We're doing it up here.
I think.
You know what? I'm gonna actually ask everyone to lead this blessing. And you remember what I did when I first came here, pre-pandemic, I was preparing
Someone's
for.
shoulder.
What?
Touch someone's shoulder.
There you go. Touch someone's shoulder of someone who's touching the challah. I'm coming down. Hold on, I'm getting my knife. There's so many moving parts to the body. I don't know when that happened. Okay, I want to be crumbs. So touch the shoulder of someone that is holding a challah.
Hold on, waiting from the west side.
Here, someone touch my shoulder and then I will pass down. Yeah. Join here.
I hope Cantor Orly doesn't mind me saying that, one of your cantors that used to be here is at Del Valle, yeah?
Yeah.
She calls it electricity.
Is that Mimi? Cantor Mimi, electricity. I like it, Mimi, if you're watching. She said Mazal Tov also, so she was hoping to watch.
Touching.
All right, everyone join me, right? We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And the day
As the cantor gets ready to do the closing song, I'm gonna punt on my closing thought, except to say, please, thanks, oops, and wow. That's the summary of Jewish prayer. Please, thank you, oops, and wow, and I'll explain the rest another time. Shabbat shalom, thank you to Roger, Orly, everybody whose names I don't want to embarrassingly maybe miss. Please remember the announcements that were mentioned. The two most important are to turn to somebody as you go out and say it's nice to see you. Thank you to everyone for being friendly. And tomorrow night there's something here, so let's get together. And then please come out next week. Mickey and Rena and is it I or me? I will be outside in the amphitheater. Mickey, do you want to add something?
If you have an instrument, bring an instrument. And if you don't have an instrument, bring your voice. And if you don't want to sing, grab a little drum, and everybody will be making joyful music together.
Oh, car keys would be good. Let's try that out.
Yes.
Oh, here are the things.
And there is going to be a song from Sesame Street, so I'll tip you off. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you to Mickey for the prep so far. There'll be a lot of singing. Rena's been on Broadway and been a cantorial soloist. It's going to be a great evening. And it'll be a little dark, and so we can, if you're embarrassed to sing in public, we want to sing you. So just
And so to conclude, we always end with a song of peace, a prayer, what it might be. I think as the transitioning, as this transitioning is going on with well, you know what's going on. With everything going on, I just want to say that may we all be blessed on our journey, wherever it might be, as we walk, as we drive, as we Zoom, whatever it is, may we all be blessed on Tfilat Haderech, on our road together. And so, 6:49. With
Shabbat shalom to you and to everybody at home. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Calories don't count when you're in synagogue, so please go to the back and enjoy the wonderful, delicious sweets. Shabbat shalom.